You like the new polo shirt, Mason?
Yeah, it looks all right, actually. That looks good.
Cracking stuff, and welcome to this special episode of On the Tigers, where I'm joined by a couple of special guests. My guess is from the background, you'll probably be able to tell which team they're on to talk about, but let me hand over to them to introduce themselves anyway.
You're Mason?
I'm Mason, part of the Lightning Ladz podcast of Milton Keynes, where we talk about Milton Keynes hockey and, of course, the NHL. So that's me. Over to Brian.
He's always very brief, is our Mason. I'm Brian Day. I joined the Lightning Ladz podcast around about July time, I think. Really enjoying it. Again, been a Milton Keynes Lightning fan since 2017. Just getting to know a bit more about MK hockey in general. You know, we're both working with MK Thunder and the MK Falcons, MK Hurricanes. You name the team, we're working with them. It's been a real joy to get to know a little bit more about the teams that are involved in Milton Keynes and not just the Lightning.
Lovely, thanks very much. And yeah, for anybody who hasn't already, check out Lightning Ladz podcast. Cannot recommend it enough. If all you've got is 20 minutes, stick on the episode where they sit down with Tim Wallace. Absolutely brilliant episode. Watching it at work and had it on in the background at work, and just absolutely amazing, the range of questions, but also top work as well being done on picking up teams like the Thunder and just Milton Keynes ice hockey in general. So if you haven't already, go and watch something from the Lightning Ladz, please is my big ask. Anyway,
thank you for that, Matt. That's it's really nice to hear that we're producing content that people want to watch, and I think it's important that we get out there with Milton Keynes, the lesser known teams, because they need our support just as much as the Lightning and the NIHL teams do.
100%. Could not agree more. Whilst obviously you're doing that, the focus for this is going to be about Milton Keynes Lightning. So let's start off with a question that I think I've probably got a bit of an idea as to how this one might go. But last season was...
You want to go, Brian, or want me to go first?
You go first, Mason.
So, of course, very successful season. Of course, we just missed out on the league by 1 point, which is a bit guttering. But of course, I think the boys decided to think, you know what, let's go win the playoffs. And of course, indeed, we did win the playoffs. So incredible.
Yeah, I think I echo what Mason said, but I think it was a season at times when there were highs, there were times when there were lows. There were a couple of games towards the end of the season that I think we should have won, and probably would have then taken the title. We were disappointed, obviously, to go out in the semi-finals of the Cup, but we made it up with the playoffs. So, that was unfortunately I couldn't make that day, but I know Mason enjoyed it really, really, really much, and it was a great way to end the season.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, the league race was, I think, exceptionally close last year, and I kind of feel as though the pivotal game was that one with a couple of weeks to go when Leeds came down to Milton Keynes. Yeah. So I don't know if there's anything further. Sorry to bring back the bad memories, but I don't know if there's anything further to say about that game or anything.
Don't worry about it.
It was with Leeds. It's always that kind of fixture, because Leeds was just absolutely outstanding. Typical Leeds, but for us, I just feel like the game that we lost the league was actually against Peterborough Phantoms, our rivals, because I think if we won that game, we could have afforded to lose against Leeds and, of course, carry on the winning the other games. So, but I just feel like, because I think the Phantoms always have that in their heads, like we stopped to win the league. So I had a few people text me after that saying, "You're not going to win the league now." I was like, Be quiet, please.
Yeah, I'll bet very gently.
Yeah, I think I agree with Mason. I think that was the game really where we blew it, if to use a footballing term. And I think it came the suspension of Tim Wallace came at a really difficult time. I think he was suspended for that game, and I think we just missed that cool head and that steadying influence, really.
So last season, I think in summary, some highs and some lows. How's this season going to be different though? Or is it going to be different?
I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think we're gonna, we had, we were both at the game on Saturday against Bristol, and I think Mason summed it up as wow, and I know my brother did as well, who was there and hadn't seen the two previous, hadn't seen the Romford game. I think the big difference this season is that we have a more steady coaching staff. In that Tim is on the bench now permanently. We've got Lewis Christie playing, coaching, probably defensive more. And I think that will allow them to see more of what's going on. So that, I think, will be the difference. But I think like every team, it's going to be a roller coaster as always.
Definitely, and of course, don't forget, Brian, you missed out Joe Wilson there. You didn't mention the other coach.
I did. Yeah, I did.
But no, also him, he knows the team as well, and of course he'll help knowing the team as well. And of course, my opinion on it, it's the team's very much stronger, a bit more faster, and I think Tim's he's brought in individuals who can work on some of the weaknesses from last season's start. Nobody struggled on penalty kills, power plays, because our power play was ridiculously quite low compared to everyone else. And of course, the game against Bristol, I think it was like 5 power play goals we scored, and all penalty kills was like so great to see. But of course, last night we weren't at the game because we were at MK Thunder. Of course, we let in a couple of power play goals against Telford Tigers.
Who last night? No, let me think.
But but yeah, it's the first weekend, and it's saying who's doing what, and you're just seeing that. And of course, some people could have dropped a couple of points, but other than that, I think this team's looking pretty good for this year.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I was at the game last night, and there were glimpses. I mean, realistically, I think sort of from that Telford perspective, we're on our home rink. Yeah, it is one of the smaller ice pads, and they worked hard last night, as in seriously hard. Milton Keynes just, there wasn't a second of peace. They were constantly being harried, and if we can keep that up on a bigger ice pad as Milton Keynes have got, that's a big question. So I know it has been a place, Telford, where past couple of seasons perhaps there's been the odd surprise result with Telford getting it there. But I think there were some definitely signs. Sean Norris got a couple of pretty decent goals last night. Yeah. His first just picked it up off face off, and before you knew it was past Brad, and you were like, oh, okay. So there's plenty of capability there, I'd say, in that Milton Keynes team.
Yeah, definitely.
So, some new faces at Milton Keynes.
Yeah.
What you've seen so far, who's the one who's really grabbed your attention, and why?
You want me to go first, Mason?
Go for it. At first, I thought you were thinking it. I was like, shall I just go? There you go.
I think, it's really difficult to, I think all the new signings have settled in really well. I was really impressed with all of them. I think two that have really grabbed, the one that really has grabbed my attention a lot, excuse me, that's my dog who's but I think the one that's really grabbed my attention this season so far is Elliot Lewis. very, very quick on the ice. You know, seems to be scoring regularly. Obviously, you've got Ilya. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his surname because I always get it wrong. And obviously Dominic Gabag, who, you know, again is showing that he's a great signing.
So yeah, so very similar, of course, Elliot Lewis, because the game just gone with Bristol. It's like, I think any player playing against their own former team, it's either going to go two ways. It's going to go like, oh no, and then won't perform, or just literally put in a great performance, which he did. He threw his weight around. He's like, I'm not getting bullied from you guys, and I'm going to score against you, and he did, and it was incredible. Ilya Korinchuk, I just call him like a little whippet, because once he's got the puck, he just sprints down, and it's just his hockey IQ at the same time. And like the first period, he was quite nervy. He wasn't shooting as much, but then came on the second period, he was just on it. He was shooting, and then of course right at the end, wasn't it, Brian? He got the goal, little snapshot, absolutely stunning. So look at potentially 100 points, hopefully for him, and of course Dominic as well, because I think Tim brought in somebody to like more replace him on the ice for that steady head, but also the quality and everything, and he's shown it, and he's got quite a few points the first weekend. So, but yeah, and of course I've got to say Jan Jakovin, hopefully I've got that right, if not I'll get told off. Yeah, also him, because he's getting used to the league, but he's actually putting some good solid performances in as well. Yeah.
From the outside perspective, I thought Gabaj was the real interesting signing. He put up some good numbers in the Bees team, which, you know, to be honest, has struggled. So you've got somebody who's put up some good numbers, who knows the league.
Yeah.
One of those pickups you take a look at, you think, do you know what, come the end of the season, you get the feeling there could be a lot of clubs thinking, maybe that's a route that we could have gone down perhaps. So yeah, I'm really interested to see from the outside perspective sort of how that one works out, how he fits in and works there.
Yeah,
he certainly seems to have settled in really well. You know, I think certainly on Saturday, I think it was one goal. I think he got one goal and 3 assists already, and he just looks dangerous every time he's got the puck.
Most definitely is, yeah.
So that's thinking about players who come in, but of course every summer also sees players leave as well. Who's been the biggest loss?
It's very hard to say, because I know every fan's got every, like, I know some people say, Max Stewart or like Ross Venus Ben Solder, but like I just feel like the team looks more stronger this season. So, but if I had to pick somebody, I'm torn between two, but Ben Solder for me, because he's very consistent, wasn't he, Ryan, at the back? And last season, he was just like, he gets on you, and he's just not afraid of it, and he just puts in a great performance week in, week out. And of course, I will say Ross Venus, I do miss him, because he was like the majority, like the points going up. So I know we had all around different goal scorers, but of course Ross was the one who was mainly with the points. So I think for me, Ross Venus as well.
Yeah, and I would totally agree with that. I mean, for me, the big loss was Ross Venus. You know, it would have been nice if he could have stayed another year, but you know, he felt that the time was right to retire. An amazing gentleman, a really amazing gentleman. I've got a real love for that guy. If you don't mind me telling the story, I have all the pucks for the players every year, and this last year it got towards the end of the season, I was missing one, which was Ross Venus, and the next, I happened to mention it on the Facebook supporters page, and the next game his wife turned up not only with the official puck but a signed puck from him. So you know, that to me screamed, what a gentleman he is. And I think he will be missed around not only will be missed around the rink as a player, but also as a person.
Can't top that, quite simply. I mean, what a, that I think just sort of shows, not only what player that you had there, but the sort of what person as well. You can't ask for any more than that. So no, thanks very much for sharing that. Okay, so thinking now about this upcoming season, who's going to be the key player for the Lightning?
Good question. I really don't. I think if we keep, I think Jordan Headley and Will Curling are going to be key for us, as always. They're so reliable. If you don't have a good netminder, then forget it. I like to think that I don't think we've got a key player, and that sounds really strange, but I think everybody just contributes in different ways. So, I don't think, and this season with Tim, and I have a saying in Tim Wallace we trust, he seems to have brought people who, if they're not on the ice, will still contribute, and there's somebody else who'll just say, right, he's not playing tonight, I'll step in.
For me, Jordan Headley as well, because coming right at the end of the playoffs, it was absolutely outstanding. I know people had little stickers saying, and it was only people, was it more score? No, it saved more than gospel was Headley stickers going around everywhere. So, but also for the pre-season, and of course the past couple of games I've seen him, he's been outstanding, looking 10 times better. Like, I know last season he struggled on a bit on just like 5-hole gaps, but then he shut that down, no one could get past him. And then it's nice to actually see him get out of the net, coming behind the line and actually clear the puck as well, which is, I think, he's worked on as well, and he looks brilliant. So I think for him, definitely at the back. And then Dominic Cabbage at the front, I just feel like he's going to be key. So I think that's where Tim wants him to be up there and just get those goals in, get some of those assists in as well. And then with the rest of the players, Brian said, it's the same. It's pretty much everybody contributing. I actually finally said it right. There we go.
And to be fair, I think that answer probably goes a long way towards explaining why a lot of people have got Lightning down as favourites for the season, quite simply. It's not a case of, just got to rely on him or just got to rely on those couple. You sort of take a look through, and there's a number of players who on any given night could, easily get 3 or 4 points and, just turn a game completely. So, yeah, interesting to see. But I'm going to flip that question on.
Sorry, I think the other thing that, is that we are not going to, I don't think we're going to have the top scorer in the league, simply because, we've had 2, 3, 4 games now. And I think, in the first pre-season game against Romford, I think we had 9 players score. And I think we seem to be, the philosophy of Tim is not to rely on one person, but to get it very well rounded so that everybody is contributing.
This one could be a bit tricky as well, but for potentially a slightly different reason, I guess. So we thought about key player, and that's been difficult to identify. Who's the most underrated player, even, at the Lightning?
I have 3.
You've got 3. I've got 2.
You go first, Professor.
Thank you. I always say him, Ed Nags. He doesn't get mentioned quite a lot, and I think he's had a goal, hasn't he, Brian? He's had a goal recently as well. And of course, he's like when he man marks people, he comes in, does his shift, no silly nonsense, and gets where some points, and that's it. And the most nicest guy off the ice as well. Absolutely lovely to meet him and talk to him. And then Tom's Ruckus, like a couple of seasons ago, he got some good points, some good goals. And the last season he dropped off a bit, but the fact was, when he wasn't doing that, he was actually putting the shift in, and what the coach was telling him what to do, he was doing it. So for me, that's my two underrated.
Two good shouts there.
So for me, as I say, I've got three. I think the first person, and I have a big, massive apology to him, because in another podcast I actually said he was English, and of course he's not. He's Scottish. Jordan County. I know, big. If I see you, Jordan County, I will apologise to your face. Jordan County, very, very underrated, regular scorer. Always puts in a great shift, can be relied on, to get those crunch goals. Then I think probably Rio, Grenell Parks. I think, he's one of those players that is very quiet and doesn't necessarily set the ice alight, but always puts in a really great shift. And again, has that power just to snatch those very few goals. But I think one player that I really do feel is very, very underrated is Archie Salisbury, who is a great friend to Mason and I. We interviewed him on the podcast, and he's an amazing, very unassuming young man. He's incredible. He's younger than we, he's very young compared to what he looks. But he is really, really strong, and really dominates the defence when he's there. And there's another one would be Callum Fields, who's come on really, really great. I think he's stepped up his game this season, and it's another one to look out for.
Ooh. That's quite a selection there that we got there across the I think we can say. So, time to cast minds back a little bit. So, you can bring back any player who's still playing, and they can put that Milton Keynes shirt on again. Who's coming back to MK?
Brian, you can go first for this one. I'll let you go for that one.
I'm going to be a real surprise here. And I'd like to see Ollie Booth, who went to Leeds, the netminder. Now, I think Ollie went for personal reasons, but he's a great. The few times that he did play for us, he was very, very good. And I would like, I felt really sorry for him to leave, because I felt that in the setup that we have, and with the coaching staff that we have, Joe, Tim, and now Lewis, I think he would have developed a lot quicker. So I would say Ollie Booth.
Cool.
I'm greedy. I can't just pick one. I'm sorry, I'll pick two. It's Ben Solder, because I think he'll just fit perfectly with the rest of the guys at the back, and just extra little bit of strength. But then also Ross Venus. Oh no, I can't. It's active, isn't it?
He's not active, mate.
He could be active. I'll give him a bit more money. I just think, imagine having Venus and Kabadge in each side. That would be incredible. But yeah, Ben Solder, I'll stick with one. I'm sorry.
Good stuff. So, right at the start of these questions, we were thinking about how last season was. Let's jump forward in time. A few months' time, so what we're going to say, April time. So, end of March. Final league game of the season. Milton Keynes Lightning will finish.
Hopefully champions.
Hopefully. I very much of the opinion that we've got the squad this time, with the coaching staff we've got, with the vision that Tim has. I think we have the top. We have the team to do it this year. Whether or not, I think there are going to be other teams that push us. I can't see us falling out of the top four at all. I'm more positive than Mason is sometimes, and I always want the other thing is, of course, we won the cup the year before, we won the playoffs this year. got to be the league title this year.
Hopefully.
I like the thinking on that one. Mason, any disagreements or?
Nah, it's pretty much very similar. Because I know I was on another podcast with Slapshot Syndicate, and of course, I was a bit like, I don't think we are going to win the league. I was a bit, not negative, I was just being more like level-headed, because we're trying to like see what's going to happen. But after seeing the past couple of games-ish, I just feel like we could do it and win the league. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's see how it pans out over the next few months. Speaking of the league, going to bring in now some questions thinking about the league more in general. So, obviously a lot of movement across the summer. Who's been the best signing?
Going to go for another netminder. I think Max Wright going to Bisons. I think he's a great pickup from the Bees. Good, solid netminder who'll bring probably a bit of experience, a bit of knowledge, consistency in what could be a very difficult time for, obviously coming back. A lot of the players will either be new or coming back. So I would say Max Wright from the Bison.
Good shout, yeah. Potential to steal some games there for them, I think.
Yeah, I definitely think that.
Definitely. Everyone's thinking that I was going straight to, is it Bristol with Brick now, or you got Swindon with their signings, but I'm going to go to Sheffield. With, is it, I can't pronounce his name, is it
Gendenoff, something like that, yeah.
Hopefully, yeah. I feel like him because what he's done pre-season, but also he's got the points this weekend, because Sheffield has been outstanding 4-point weekend along with you guys as well. But I think Slava's he's picked out some pretty impressive imports, and I feel like he could be the best signing, hopefully. So that's my one.
Cool, good shout as well. And for any Swindon fans watching, yes, we know that you've got a 4-point weekend as well, so we haven't forgotten. Yeah, no, two really good picks there. Be interested to see how they pan out over the season. Yeah, I mean, obviously, got to see Max Wright last season, and yeah, he should make a big difference for the Bison team in terms of up at Sheffield and new to the league, but he seems to have quite the resume behind him, so yeah, it'd be interesting to see how those two get on this season. Which team is going to be the biggest surprise this season, and why? It could be for bad reasons, so I'll just leave it as biggest surprise.
I was torn between two, because originally I said, back in my head was like Telford Tigers, because no one really talked about them like pre-season and the side and everything, and then you guys have come out against Leeds, and of course against us as well, and it's like, wow, okay. But of course, I'm going to stick to my guns. I feel like Sheffield Steel Dogs are going to be the big shockers there, because Slava's experience in Peterborough and also his resume and the way he plays and what he's bringing into Sheffield might bring some more fans in for them, get more bigger atmosphere, which I've seen they've had high numbers over the weekends, and the experience the players have brought in. And one of my favourite players, CJ Garcia, at the back, to bring more stability at the back. I just feel like they're going to be in the top, for me, top four.
Yeah, I'd totally agree with Mason. I think Sheffield have always been a team that have been underrated. I think they just have lacked that consistency, and with the recruiting this season, and of course the new head coach, I think they're going to be dangerous.
Yeah, it's definitely a team that I've sort of got flagged for that question as well, although caveat to it all depends on how many and how often players go up to the Steelers, because if they start having weekends where they've got 3 or 4 players who get called up to the Steelers, that's then going to perhaps become a little bit trickier. But
and I think that's always the problem when we have a number of players who are on two ways. I think I'm not a great lover. If I'm going to be really brutally honest, I'm not a great lover of the two-way system. I think it tends to dilute the players' will sometimes. They're conscious that they could be called up to the elite at any point. But yeah, I think that's one thing I'm really glad that Milton Keynes haven't really done this season, apart from Martelli. So I think you're right. I think if they start losing players to that, and especially if they then hit injuries or suspensions at the same time, that could really disrupt their season.
Can't disagree with any of that. Now, I think we already had the answer to this in a previous question, so I'm going to rephrase it slightly. So, MK have won the league. Congratulations. Your biggest challenger then this season? Who's the team most likely to stop you winning the league?
Top 4 wise, I reckon Swindon, of course. And of course, everyone thinks no, but I think Hull.
Okay.
I think Hull. And of course, everyone's going to be like, oh no, but I just put Sheffield in the top 4, didn't I? So, but I mean, I put Leeds Knights out of the top 4, which is going to be a shock for everyone if it does happen. So, but it's the beginning of the season. But I think Swindon are going to be the big pushers this season. Because I know last season they were running near the top 2 last season. And then they just right near the end, just dropped down a bit. But I reckon with their new signings and they look impressive so far as well. But I feel like they're going to be the big pushers towards us.
I would agree with if we win the title, I think Hull definitely, and Swindon. I think you're dead right there, Mason. I'd like to see you guys up there. I think you've just been just that little bit below where you could be. And I think certainly you started off the season really well, providing you can keep that going. And obviously, we both mentioned Sheffield. So I think any one of those 5 can do well. I don't know about Leeds. I really don't. They just don't. They're not clicking. And to me, I have no. I'm not one of these people that sort of badmouth teams at all. Never have done, never will do. But something's not right in Leeds to me. They shouldn't be where they are. Even though, obviously it's the first season. But I was watching the interview with their head coach, and you could tell he was not happy. I think they might struggle this season for some reason.
Definitely want to keep an eye on there, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
So we talked about the top of the table. Of course, there's always interest as well down towards the bottom, because there are 8 playoff spots, but there are 11 teams in the league. Which 3 teams do you think are not going to make the playoffs this season?
I hate this part.
Yeah, this is where fan bases come on. Like, you said we wouldn't make it, and
we love all the other teams. So we never want to see anybody at the bottom. But they can go.
You've got to be careful, Brian. The teams that we say, don't forget, you might be coming to, but I have to go to the away games, so they'll spot me. But all right, Lightning Lads. All right,
We'll just blame Matt for putting us on the spot.
Yeah, entirely on me, this one.
Oh, we can't do that. It's too mean. If I had to choose 3 teams, I don't like it. I'm sorry. Solway Sharks. Yeah. I know they've made some some decent signings, of course, I know. But there's a little feeling in the back of my head, and it's like Solway Sharks, Romford Raiders, and you'll be very shocked for this one, but I feel like Bristol.
Okay.
Because I know it's only the first. I know they won last night, just coming off the 7-2 defeat. But when you watch a team go down quite quickly, like you think like you need to regroup and fight for it, but they just didn't show it. And I feel like they've got a lot of new players, and it's like so it reminds me of that Leeds not clicking. I just feel like some of them are not clicking as much, and I hate to say it, but I feel like Bricknell looked like a ghost.
Okay.
So he was last season, and I was watching him play the whole game. This is where he sees me, and he's like, "Excuse me." But I was just watching him the whole night, and I'm right at the front anyway, so I was like, he doesn't seem like himself there. So I've put Bristol and the one to miss out just narrowly on the playoffs.
Okay.
I would agree totally with those three. Solway, they just. I feel really sorry for them because they're the ones that have to travel the furthest. And that obviously must play a big factor in that. If you're playing in Scotland one day and you're down in Bristol the next, it must be really tough for them. But they're such nice fans. I'd really love them to get into the playoffs, but unfortunately I just can't see it. Romford, I just wasn't that impressed with them. Again, pre-season you can't really judge. And I think Mason's hit it on the head. Bristol just don't seem quite. They still are missing something. I don't know what it is, but they just seem to be missing something.
Let's see how it all pans out. I'd agree with two of those. For me, I think Solway might just not quite have enough firepower to make it. Romford, I think, there's lots going on there.
Bristol,
and then I've got Basingstoke not make it, it being first season back, but they could very easily prove me wrong. Bristol, I think if it does click, and it clicks reasonably soon, they probably should do enough to scrape in, but it certainly could be tight and interesting down there. So it looks as though we're shaping up for a season where it's going to be interesting up at the top and interesting down towards the bottom. There's kind of, I think questions we've covered the team, I think.
Yeah, I think the big problem with Basingstoke is no one's seen them yet.
Yeah.
It's really hard to judge a team when you haven't actually seen them. I know they're still having problems with their rink. That must have a real psychological effect on them at the moment. I think you could possibly, I think if I reserve judgment on Basingstoke because I have no data really to look at.
Definitely, and then also going on Basingstoke as well. It's because I've caught a little bit because when I travelled up to Swindon for an evening wise, because one of their imports looks pretty great. It's Spadaforum.
Yeah.
Now, I call him the fancy version of Spadaforum. It sounds like a fancy butter. But he looks quite dangerous. But then for the rest of the teams, of course, Telford and the rest of the teams, that game against Swindon and of course Brighton, local rival game, they've both shown a weakness to themselves, both of them, how to get under their skins to know that game. Is it Rennie Marr and everything, what happens, the Max Wright and stuff, but you know how to pick at them. I think they've both can't get that word out. There we go, yeah. And so anyone could do it. So I just feel like they need to calm their heads next time.
So. Well, the past two questions, I think the only team that we haven't mentioned is Peterborough. So Peterborough, sorry fans, it looks like you could be in for a season of very safely mid-table, and just making the way up into playoffs and then see what happens there. But obviously, there's a lot to play out. Final question, thinking about just the league in general. One-word answer on this one. The leading point scorer will be...
I use 3. Haven't a clue.
Good shout, I think. Good shout.
I'll be really honest. You know, I my knowledge of the league is not as high as it is with the Lightning. You know, there are a lot of outstanding players out there. You know, we've already seen people like Dylan Lawrence coming back. You know, we've already got some of our lads starting to rack up the points. You know, Sean Norris with 2 yesterday. So, if I'm going to be really honest, I really don't know.
3, but very quick. Emailed Beck, Dominic Kabadge, and he is going to pick up the points. Is it Sobchak?
Yeah, Sobchak.
I'm not really good at pronouncing names. That's just me in general, but I just feel like the league's got incredibly a lot of talent. Anyone can score that, but I just feel like those 3 can be like, yeah.
I think probably expect to see, obviously, as long as they stay injured, it's pension free, but you expect to see all 3 of them up there. I think all 3 of them could be sort of around about that 100-point barrier. So, be interested to see how that one plays.
Come back. Answer your own question.
Lovely stuff when people turn it. Right, if I'm going to be biased, I'm going to pick David Thompson from Telford. You know, he's I think he's currently in the lead, making that after 2 games with 6 points. You know, he can get the gritty goals from next to no distance. I mean, his first goal last night, he bundled it over from like a negligible distance. But then the second goal that he got, he picked out the top corner when there didn't look to be any space. So, you know, he could score all types of goals, and he's going to get assists, so he's going to be key for Telford. Thinking out across the league, I mean, a lot of the names that were meant, Sobchak's going to be up sort of 100 points plus, should be imagining. I think Bricknell's probably going to have a chance of being up around about there. Gabaj has put numbers up in, as we said, a Bees team that struggled, so in a stronger team, wouldn't necessarily be surprised to see him stick up a few more. Wide open for me, but I'm going to be biased. And I'll stick with Tomo, I think, as long as we can keep.
I don't blame you. I mean, I sort of had a quick look at the standings, the stats this morning, just to get a rough idea, because, as I say, I don't have a clue, and was pleased to see him at the top.
Yeah, I'm not going to complain. So, a couple of questions now about yourselves, really. So the first one, complete fantasy world. You can sign any NHL player you want for the Lightning. Who's coming in to lead the Lightning?
Ooh. I can go for the obvious, or I can go for a bit. No, but I might go more obvious. Connor McDavid. Just outstanding. Yeah, it's just he got 26 goals, and he got, I think, 74 assists the season, and 100 points. And the fact is, just the way he plays, silky. It's just the way he passes, and sees someone that's not even like you see him here, but he sees the pass here, and he's like, I just feel like if we had him, he'd win the league every season and every cup. There we go.
Yeah, for me, I'm very much Denver Central. So, I'm very much, I'm a big fan of the Denver Broncos and the Colorado Avalanche. And I think I would go for Nathan McKinnon from the Avalanche. Yeah. He's an explosive player and can sort of seems to be their clutch player at times when they really need somebody just to pull one out. So I think Nathan McKinnon.
And your turn? Oh, Matt. Who would you sign?
Oh, yeah. I want somebody. sort of, in that Brad Marchand, Matthew Tkachuk kind of role. I like players that get in there and get under the skin, make it a bit of a gritty game and horrible stuff like that. So, yeah, I want somebody like them, and I think particularly with Telford and sort of the rink that we've got and everything like that, smaller rink and players like that. Yes, please. Be wonderful to have. I think Telford are often at their best when, get into that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Final question then. Well, I say final question, actually there's two parts to it. So, massive injury crisis at the Lightning. Tim Wallace gives you a call. What position are you going to be playing, and what number do you want to have on your back?
Go on, Brian.
First of all, I would say, Tim, what the heck are you doing? Because I have I can't skate. I'm about 10 stone soaking wet. I'm a coward. But I think, if he's that desperate that he needs me, I'd like to think I would just be one of those utility players that play where he wants us to play.
Yeah.
Apart from netminder, because I don't fancy that at all. But I think for me, the number would be 28, in honour of Tim. He's a great personal friend, a great guy. But I'm actually more interested in coaching. I coached American football to quite a high level in the UK, and I'm always fascinated by that sort of tactics and stuff. So what I would really like to be is on the bench somewhere as a coach.
Cool.
I like that one. Number 97 on my jersey because of Conor McDavid, one of my favourite players, and I'll be a D-man. I'll get in there, and if I need to fight somebody, I love a good rough, and I will fight anybody. I'm not afraid. I nearly squared off with somebody with the league below, actually, nearly. He was calling me out on the ice, and I was like, okay, I'll wait for you at the bus outside. And I'm that kind of guy. I'm a dad. I'm a married man. I'm peaceful, but someone gets there, let's go. So that's me.
Very good, very good.
How was it?
You, Matt?
Me, well, number's the easy one. Number 4, number, quite simply. So yeah, I'd want to have that on my back. In terms of position, I'm probably going to say D-man purely because when I played football, I played at the back. So hopefully some of that would be sort of a bit interchangeable in terms of understanding perhaps some positioning. Maybe I don't know, but perhaps a bit like Brian, I've got a couple of problems that might prevent me being called up, like not being able to skate.
It's always the worst one, isn't it?
Yeah, that and not really fancy being slammed in by somebody who's like 3 times the size of me or whatever like that. So
Jake Bolton coming in.
so yeah, if it could be promised that I can skate along at my own very slow speed and stumble along and nobody's going to slam into me, then yeah, maybe I consider it. But up until that point, I think I'll stay on the side of the plexi that I'm on.
You think our big thing, Matt, is we'd probably end up facing Mason.
Oh, great. Cool. Well, thank you very, very much to Lightning Ladz. Been wonderful to chat all things Milton Keynes, Lightning, the league, and sort of those couple of questions at the end. As I said at the start, but I'm definitely going to say it again, please go along, please check them out. And as I say, if all you do is watch one episode, just make sure it's that one with Tim Wallace. That was it 2 weeks ago, I think you recorded that one? Yeah. Check it out. As I say, just an amazing set of questions on there, so please do so. Final word, as always, I will hand to my guests. Anything that you'd like to say to everybody who's watching?
Of course, check us out, but also check this guy out because I love watching his podcasts and he's got a lot of knowledge, and it's honestly, it's helped me. I watch you and it helps me talk a bit more in depth as well and entertaining. So guys, check him out as well, and thanks for having us on.
Pleasure.
And for me, very much like Mason, I think I really admire what you do, Matt. You know, and I admire what you do for the other teams in Telford as well. You know, I think we all three of us have the same mentality that it's a family. Hockey's about family. We have lots of teams in Milton Keynes that don't get recognised, that aren't necessarily the ones that get the publicity. You know, and that's what we're trying to do and what you're trying to do, and I applaud you for that, really do. And you know, like you said, check out our podcasts. We post once or twice a week. We've got another one out today. Harry McGarvey. Was it Harry McGarvey? It was Harry McGarvey from
Yes,
the
number
Thunder.
22 Thunder.
Yeah. And we're hoping to have lots of other big interviews and also discuss the league. So please do like and subscribe us.
Definitely checking that one out over the next couple of days. So thanks very much, everybody, for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed producing this one for you. Thanks. Bye for now.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.